Uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Do you want to know the best attachment in the game? Do you want to know the actual numbers on those attachments? Do you want to know some of the wild stuff that I found out testing today that absolutely no one else is putting out there? And do you want to be able to take that and make your gameplay better? That's what we're here for, and that's what we're going to do today. If you want to know more about these things, I have a spreadsheet. I'm not sure if I'm going to give public access to the recoil part of the spreadsheet, but I sure as hell am going to share my findings with you. Now, if you've been getting your info from AI voiceover M416 spamming guys who put spray patterns up and talk about them, then you're getting dudded because they don't know what they're talking about and they absolutely do no research apart from putting something in Photoshop and chroma keying out the background. I mean, it really is a crime how little effort those guys put into their videos. I use the catfish method. It's something he pioneered for PUBG Mobile. Let me show you exactly what it is here so that you understand where I'm getting these numbers from and why I feel so confident about them. We spray on the wall, all from the same position. We get a baseline using one gun with nothing on it, and then we measure the distance between each single bullet hole by measuring the pixels in Photoshop. So every time I'm talking about an attachment, I've measured 30 different variations. Every single round goes horizontally one direction for an X amount and vertically one direction for an X amount. And when you put those numbers together, you get a beautiful recoil picture and you figure out what does what. Something else we discovered. Now I'm going to show you this. This is going to blow your mind. Just putting an attachment on, watch the green reticle on the left. It gets smaller every time you put an attachment on the weapon. There it goes, it shrinks. That's the barrel extender. This is a suppressor. It still shrinks. That's because every single attachment seems to lower the recoil pattern regardless of whether it's meant to or not. And I don't know if this is a bug. I don't know what is going on with that. It does nothing to the vertical recoil profile, but it absolutely narrows the horizontal recoil profile. And it narrows it by exactly the same amount. It was too freaking clear for it to be an accident. What this has done before in PUBG PC is it will lower the recoil pattern. So basically, the possible outcomes shrink by X amount regardless, which is what managing vertical recoil is all about. And this is borne out a lot by some of the tooltips that are popping up now that never used to pop up. Like the suppressor has a tooltip that says shot spread, which I assume just means lowering the recoil pattern. Let's give you some of those numbers now so you can see exactly where we're at. Now, they all had 7% horizontal recoil reduction. All these attachments, the suppressor, the flash hider, the barrel extender, and the compensator all had 7%. No, that does not align with the tooltips, but when you measure 30 individual data points for each of those attachments, and they all average 7.4 pixels either left or right per round as a differentiation, it's very hard to say, isn't it like crazy that all these numbers are the same? Because there was one standout here. And I mean, if you're not running the muzzle brake on your spray weapons, you are out of your mind. It had a 16% horizontal recoil differentiation. That's absolutely nuts. That is such a huge number to get just from your muzzle attachment. And let's talk a little bit about the vertical. And I am going to go into some really important context after we finish this. So don't bloody well go anywhere. We're still going to do the heavy stock here as well. So the crazy stuff with the vertical recoil for me was the flash hider. No surprises, there is no vertical recoil help from the barrel extender or the suppressor. And you wouldn't think there would be. Hell, you didn't think you were going to get horizontal recoil help from the suppressor. So getting that at all is pretty bloody good. But the fact that you get 8% from the flash hider and 10% from the compensator while getting the same horizontal recoil help from both means that you're mad if you run a compensator. 2% extra, well, 2% extra vertical recoil control from a compensator over having a flash hider. Now, why that is so very important for me is if I'm on Rondo and I'm using a DSR, I will constantly be troubled by people who are using suppressors or flash hiders on either their snipers or their M416 sprays. If you're using a compensator, I will see the muzzle flash. It will be plain as day. And that muzzle flash will allow me to target you correctly and headshot you and win, right? So you give up just 2% vertical recoil control using the flash hider, and you gain an absolute fantastic intangible ability that you can't be spotted when you're using the muzzle flash, when you're using your sprays. The barrel extender just giving you better horizontal recoil control than nothing is pretty freaking impressive. I will point out this is probably why I find the barrel extender so good on the AKM, because it's actually helping you more than just a flat nothing else. Like, vertical recoil is nothing really when you're experienced with the game. It's all about horizontal recoil control. I've got a feeling the ergonomic grip is going to be insane when I test that, but more on that later. We need to talk about the heavy stock, and I'm almost afraid to put up the results on the heavy stock because we knew they helped. If you haven't tried using it with an M416 or a Vector particularly, or even an Ace32, you really need to, because the horizontal recoil reduction was 18% and the vertical recoil reduction was 10%. Now, those numbers might be fudged. It might end up being, if we test it 100 times, 15% and 8%. I get that. But there was no positive recoil reduction from the TAC stock while in a full auto mode. And if you're surprised by that, I don't know why, because it never says anything about recoil on the TAC stock's tooltip. It says recoil recovery and weapon sway management. And again, we know that the weapon sway thing, it doesn't seem to have bog all to do with PUBG Mobile, but it certainly does with PC. Recoil recovery is a single tap only state of mind. And it does help with single tapping. But we all know that if you're single tapping an M416, you're probably just doing it to clear a knock and save ammo instead of spraying. It's nothing like, I mean, I can't think of a single reason why you would single tap intentionally with an M4. Maybe on an Ace32, but why would you single tap a Vector, for instance? In all these situations, the heavy stock is so far and away superior. It's horrifying. And this loadout that I'm running right now is the loadout that I run to take advantage of this stuff. So it's not an M4. I don't want to run the M4. I find it just too bloody annoying. But anyway, it's an AUG with the muzzle brake and an ergonomic grip, and a UMP with a laser sight and a barrel extender. Now, the barrel extender would for me be the thing I would run on my primary weapons. If I'm running a spray weapon, I am running a muzzle brake. Controlling vertical recoil is not tough. If you think about it like this, vertical recoil is always going in one direction, up. Every gun that you fire an ADS with, the recoil goes up regardless. Even light recoil profiles go up. Horizontal recoil is going left and right. So you want to take the thing that minimizes horizontal recoil. Well, if you're running a primary and you take the barrel extender, you're getting 7% horizontal recoil reduction and you're getting 1.1 more damage on an AKM, pumping you up to 49 base and 33 point. I need to have a look at my spreadsheet here. Just 1 second, bear with me. We tested it. 32.4. It's, I thought we tested it. I think it's 33.5. Holy hell, it may indeed be a 3-shot. We need to test that again. I thought it was 33.1. But we're going to test that again. But my point being, the numbers are just unholy good for the barrel extender as a primary. If you're running a spray weapon, that's your secondary slot weapon, and it's your ranged and CQC switch. You are far better off with accuracy in that situation, because my AKM is going to be doing most of its damage between 0 and 25 meters, right? You can get it out for a bit further. That's no problem at all. We all do it. But if you're getting out to 50 to 75 meters and you're using an AKM with a barrel extender, you're kind of missing the point. So for me, heavy stock, every chance you can get it. Run it. Every single weapon you can run it on. It is an absolute godsend for your recoil control. And muzzle brake for all your spray weapons, or if you prefer accuracy in your gameplay and you want to hit more shots. There's a real balance here. The muzzle brake works better on weapons where you are actually just really controlling the recoil a little bit tougher than, say, an M416. Like, if you're running a Scar L, you might run the muzzle brake because you're going to hit more shots, and it's that higher value return. Hitting 42 more than hitting 40.9 is a lot better than hitting 43 with the barrel extender, but not hitting it very often. You know, you've got to make those decisions in your own gameplay. The video for the grips will be out hopefully by the end of the week. I'm working really hard on this stuff right now. I go through these phases where I work really hard. Congratulations to me. If we get enough views and if enough of you share this, and we pick up enough subs and stuff, I'll bust my ass on it. But otherwise, it's going to be out next week. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your support. I'm Bushka. You're the humans. Look after yourselves. And until next time, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.